So I'm here with Phil Manny, Assistant Coach Cardiff Fire. So first of all, before we get to today's great game, I just want to ask you about the game against Bristol last weekend. You won at 5-2. How did you maintain that streak?
I think, following the great game we had against Bristol, we were on a high. Everybody was really sort of just taking it into the game. The bottom line is we didn't really think about Bristol as a team, how they played. We just stuck to our plan. We didn't get involved in any of the sort of roughing stuff that they were trying to pin into the game towards the third penalty period. And then, more importantly, just carried on what we were doing against Bracknell. And a really good road win for us.
Like you mentioned, you kept discipline. One thing that I've noticed recently is that the league is tightening up on the fighting. How have you adapted to this as a team? How you make sure that you guys are disciplined?
It's not to get on the refs or anything like that, but it is a bit of Russian roulette as to what's going to be called. Nobody knows what's going on. You've got some refs who will talk to the guys. Thanks, Zamboni, man. Talk to the guys. The one thing that I always like about referees is when they're communicating with us. A prime example for me is you look at Nigel Owens from the rugby. He commands respect. He's constantly communicating with the players. But it's one of those things that I understand why the league's doing it, but I'm not sure whether it's a good idea. Personally, I'm an advocate of the fact that fighting does have a place in the game. It keeps it clean. And my sort of personal opinion is that the way things are going, it might sort of develop a new breed of rat into the league. The bottom line is fighting's there for repercussion. It keeps everything in line. It polices the game. And unfortunately, if refs aren't going to protect the players, then they're forced into a situation. But the problem is normally it would be a 2+2 or maybe a little bit more. But now, if you look at Elliot Murdoch's penalty, 4 games for that. It would never happen a couple of years ago. But like I say, I'm not getting on the refs. I'm not getting on the league. But I think as long as they communicate with the players and let them know how they're going to call the game, then it's not a problem.
So then last night you faced Slough, who beat us at home.
Yeah, slammed us basically. Last night is something I don't really want to talk too much about and dwell on it. The bottom line is we outshot them 55-54. But in all fairness to Slough, they're a clinical team. They're coached by Lucas Smittal and Joe Ciccarello, and they are just clinical. They finished everything. Penalties didn't help us. But it's one of those things, we'll wipe a clean slate, learn from our mistakes and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Going forward to tonight now, 10-2 win over Lee Valley. Are you happy with the win?
The bottom line is, it's not to take anything away from Lee Valley. They arrived at the rink with 10 players, and Cardiff Fire was in that position last year. So, I take my hat off to them. They played us all game. They didn't give up. But I think tonight was really more about making sure we're getting into good habits to take into Bracknell next week, trying to work on stuff that we may not be able to do against a sort of higher team in the league. 10-2 is good. It's nice to have Murdoch back, and it was great to have James Whiting in goal as well, who did a good job.
You mentioned Murdoch being back. As well as being a very physical player, he also scored a goal tonight, or at least one.
Yeah.
What's it like having him back in the fold?
Yeah, El's a great guy. He's a little bit unfortunate with the penalties he's had this year, but it was great. He didn't get a penalty tonight. Certainly nice to get him back on the board. And the good thing about Elliot is he listens. He wants to learn. He's really worked hard this summer, and good to have him back in the lineup.
One last question. We saw Ross Wilkinson have a very, very nasty knock towards the end of the game. What is his condition?
As far as I can see, he seems to be okay. Not nice to see any of your teammates or even an opposing player lying on the outside cold. But Ross is a warrior. He literally puts his body on the line for the team. He's a good guy. I've been friends with him for many years, and he's on the mend. So we'll make sure he gets his head checked out because it was nasty. But he's back in the room. He's back conscious, and all being well, he may have to miss the next couple of games, but we'll wait for the medical report on that.
Great. Good luck next week.
Thanks, Charlie. Cheers. Thanks.